Really?
No, probably.
I was like, yeah, I learned something. I didn't know that shit.
What did you learn?
That you're cosplaying later.
I am?
Yep, Nate's making up shit.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Madison said you look like an anime character with your bangs like that.
When you're doing like this.
And
I don't know who I look like.
And I said you're gonna go cosplay later.
Yeah, sure. I was gonna do Danny that one time when there was that convention that was in Dothan. I thought about doing Danny, but then I moved, so.
And then you figured Sean Foreman.
Then you found $5 in your pocket, and it became a good story.
And then I found $5. Yeah. Okay.
Great start the episode.
Great start. Yeah. Hey everyone, welcome to A Shame of Thrones as everyone takes a drink. Episode 9. Battle of the Bastards. I feel like we've all been waiting for this ever since we started hating Ramsay, which has been, I don't know, the first episode that he ever came in, I feel like. Although I do remember we did have one conversation when Ramsay officially became a Bolton, and I think I had it with like Nate, Madison, and Paul. And I was like, oh, I'm so happy for him because he's working for this for his whole life. And I was like, maybe he'll be good now. And I was like, nope, you're dumb. You're dumb. Okay, so this episode, there were really only 2 plot lines. Kind of as we saw, it was Marine with, Danny and the Masters kind of coming and trying to take back their rule, and we had obviously the Battle of the Bastards. So we'll kind of save that one for last because it was a big chunk of the episode. So first let's talk about Marine. So Danny has returned, and don't get too excited.
Hey.
One of the dogs.
Fuck him.
So I want to say that one of us called it, I think the last episode, me or somebody else said, it would just be really great if like Theon and Yara could just bust up in there. Was it you? Okay, I thought it was you or me. I couldn't remember.
Because I was trying to prove make the connection that they were technically also bastards since their father was now dead.
Oh,
so
right.
It's a continuation of the bastards.
That's right. Okay. That's right. Yeah, you're right.
Everyone's a bastard.
Everyone's a bastard. So
we'll get there because that came true in more than one way.
Yeah,
but we'll get there.
So Danny returns with Drogon, and Marine is basically under attack, essentially. And then Theon and Yara kind of bust up in there. Or no, I'm sorry. They have a meeting with the Masters, and they die in probably the best way possible, with Drogon kind of like burning shit, everything, and then Grey Worm like slicing 2 of their throats. That was probably one of the best death scenes I've seen probably all season. That was great.
Well, it was also super symbolic, right? Like,
yeah. For sure.
That the one guy who got on his knees escaped.
I knew that shit was gonna happen. I was like, "There's no way they're gonna kill him." It was kind of expected, but I mean, he was pretty much feared for his life. So, man.
And as we know, bending the knee is like a specific phrase.
Right. Exactly.
So it's like extra important that's happening for Danny.
Well, and I mean, they obviously wanted to let someone live to go and tell the tale of everything that happened, and the defeat, basically how the Masters kind of fucked up, essentially. So
well, I am a little bit disappointed that we didn't see more of the Dothraki army root up some Sons of the Harpy.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to see a fair amount of bloodshed there, but we didn't see any at all.
Well,
how much budget do you want this show to have, son?
Come on, Nate. This episode wasn't enough.
We can only afford 5 Sons of the Harpy. 5.
Yeah.
Wanted more.
2 were like actually stuffed straw, like scarecrows.
There you go.
Put a gold mask on. But another thing about that, about specifically the execution of the Masters, right? So what was interesting is it also illuminated their worldview, right? Because the initial proposal is, we have to kill one of you. So, and they're all kind of like, well, that makes sense. You'd only kill one of us because really we're too valuable to die, but you have to make a point, right? So the idea that it, like, all of a sudden that rug was pulled out from under them, it kind of spoke to a level of like it laid bare their level of privilege, right, and what they're used to in terms of like their status, right? Like, of course, you'd only kill one of us. We're too valuable for two, but it was the exact opposite. That we kill the most valuable of you and only leave one because all we need is someone to spread back that message.
I kind of wish they highlighted a little bit more of like Dany interacting with Tyrion about the decisions that he made. I mean, they did bring it up, but I feel like it should have been a little bit more. But at the same time, they were under attack, so it's not like they really had time to talk about what was going on. But I think the way they handled it was really well. I feel like from like a directorial standpoint, I really liked what they did with the dragons taking the master's ships. Like, I just really liked that whole scene because, to be honest, I hadn't been like too impressed with the use of the dragons this whole season. Just kind of how like they busted out of the crypts or whatever that they were held in. I really liked the route that they went with that. And then, after that, Yara and Theon kind of pull up and basically offer themselves to her. Lesbians.
Getting back to kind of the back and forth between Tyrion and Daenerys, I think that she put him in charge for a reason, and he made the decisions that he made, and they were in the situation they were in. But once they started talking to Yara about her deal, she kind of said, she looked over to Tyrion and kind of, okay, should I do this or should I not? So there's still a pretty big level of trust between the two of them. So I'm sure it wasn't as contentious as we might have thought it would have been initially. So
and I mean, Tyrion had spent so much time with Theon back in Westeros and everything, so she knew that he knew the true like meaning of what they were saying. But at the same time, Tyrion hadn't seen him in X number of years, so he wasn't really sure what's going on, but they had to basically put their full trust in him. Go ahead, Kevin.
I was going to say like that it was really cool because once again, Game of Thrones is always about characterizing forms of leadership, right? And what's good leadership and what's bad leadership. And that certainly came up with Jon and Ramsay. But here, it was the idea that so often people are punished for an outcome, right? They're punished because this shit went sideways, right? And that was very not the case with Tyrion and Dany. So she questioned him, and there was a level of accountability. But then he goes, by the way, this is happening actually because I kicked ass. And this is the backlash. And she's like, all right, makes sense to me. Let's burn some shit down. Let's fucking go crazy. And to me, that spoke to like a level of trust. And it characterized her as a wise leader. And Tyrion as not her equal, but of her circle.
Right. She can finally put her full trust in him, whether she likes the decisions that he made or not, essentially. Mm-hmm. Okay, just in the chat right now, May says, I love when you see the dragon in the background when Dany is talking to the masters and you just go, yes! I think we all once you saw Dany come back in like the last episode, I feel like, okay, she's going to get Drogon to just burn the ships down. So you kind of knew it was coming, but like I kind of said earlier, from a directorial standpoint, that was kind of a really good feeling.
Well, the use of overhead shots was really sweet, right?
Yeah.
Like, we were joking about the budget, but the CG budget for Marine, I thought, and like, I think Nate, you had said beforehand, some of the CG looked a little weak at times. Like, which is fair, right? Like, when she's on the dragon, it looks like someone riding a mechanical bull with a dragon pasted on it. But, like, the use of aerial shots to convey the size of the city and the aerial space that the dragons were in, I thought was absolutely... And particularly the shots of the fire being breathed down, how they those vertical lines was very cool.
Yes, I noticed that.
But specifically to the commenters, what was the commenter's name?
May.
What's up, May? I'm sorry, I forgot your name. The use of the dragon in the background was actually a really cool motif that carried over from the last episode, right? And they kind of trained you up to expect it because as Dany is standing there in that first shot, she comes in the temple, you can see the dragon in the background. Yeah. So they kind of taught you to look for it in one shot, So when it happens in the next shot, she's exactly right. It's like, yes.
I do have to say, the cinematography was really cool, the CGI, whatever. Danny's always been my favorite character. Like, clearly I wear her upon my bosom.
Yeah.
But I feel like this season, her character development has seriously flatlined. She used to be this huge three-dimensional character. Like, we saw her thinking things through and having conversations with people, and she used to have a really great storyline. It's been really flat this season. Like, she's been incredibly 2D. Like, she's kind of just narrowed down into this, okay, I'm a conqueror, that's what I'm gonna do, and that's it. Well, and there's no relationships or anything anymore, and I've hated her plot line this season.
Is it because Jorah's gone? Because,
I don't think so. Because
go ahead.
No, she's still surrounded by people that she like normally had relationships with.
Yeah, like I feel like she started winding down last season. You know, like she started getting a little boring last season because she kind of got to Marine and she was just like, okay, we'll just sit here and like chill out for a little while. And she just kind of, I think that's when she kind of flatlined. And like I said, she's just kind of been that way this season. It's just kind of been like, there she is. She's just doing things.
Well, I think you might feel that way because she chose to not go head on, go straight to Westeros, even though, you know, all she needed was ships, and she was even offered ships by the Masters to go. I'll give you all the ships you want, just leave. And she could go and do what, you know, her essential goal was, her ideal was to go to Westeros and conquer it and take back the throne. She could do it a long time ago, but instead she chose to kind of sit and be, you know, like we've said in the past, be like a conqueror. So her, like, badassery may have gone away. I don't think it's gone away completely, but I can see how it has been.
Remember when she burned down like a fucking room filled with dolls? Like,
that's true.
That was kind of badass. And then she showed up and was like, these are my titties.
Yeah.
These are my bosoms.
Badass, but it was still a little just like, here it is.
Well, it was definitely like, here it is.
Yeah.
You kind of like, I don't want to say you knew it was coming, but you never really questioned the position that she was going to be put in. I mean, I kind of disagree. I don't think she's necessarily like flatline, but I can see how you would think that her like character development maybe hasn't excelled to like the expectations we've had for her in the past. Maybe.
No. Yeah, it's just kind of plateaued.
I want to argue with this in what is possibly the strongest terms. Actually, that's totally not true. Not the strongest terms at all. Because I get what you're saying in terms of one or two dimensionality, insofar as her character has been focused on what is her ultimate destiny, but all the other ancillary stuff that makes her a little bit more 3D is taken away, because her character is focused on the idea of leadership and ruling. So it's not just conquering, right? Because there is more to it, right? There's like the idea of how do I rule wisely, but sternly, but fairly, right? So we start out with ideas of like, what do we do in Marine, and like how do we succeed, and how do we change the culture there? And we go to things like, now she's stripped of all her resources. How does she become a leader when she's stripped of all resources, right? And the idea that she proved that not only to herself, but I guess to the audience, that she can successfully literally take over the Dothraki, the most independent of all possible
like twice.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially twice.
And then the return. I thought that a really cool moment was, and granted, it's around the idea of leadership, but that exchange she had with Tyrion, where Tyrion's like, the burning of the things of the down. That's like, maybe we can just like dial that back a little bit. And so, the ability to seek counsel, the ability to, her relationships are all with her advisors at this point.
Right, but I think that's something that probably has changed a lot with this season, with having Jorah. Well, I mean, Jorah's gone now, but now she has a place to rule. She has a place to sit, and she kind of has like a council to firmly, to listen to at this point. And I think that is a huge difference in her character development, because she's no longer like on her own anymore. She has the followers.
Right, and if you look at the Path of the Dragons is kind of symbolic of her path of leadership, right? Like they are literally the embodiment of her right to rule Westeros. And if you remember the last couple seasons, they've been chained up, much as she's been chained in Meereen and felt kind of like bogged down, right? She couldn't do anything, right? And then through the freedom of the dragons and the idea that the dragons are now fully grown, you can see that she's fully grown as a leader. Yeah. She's ready to go over to Westeros. And watching that development kind of parallel and exist metaphorically is cool.
Go ahead, Madison. You were going to say something?
I really like that metaphorically, and it makes a lot more sense. I think both of what you guys said was true, and I agree with it to a degree. I think maybe one of the problems is that this season there's been such strong female character development in the other characters, so hers is just kind of not there. Like in comparison, maybe that's my problem. I don't know.
Well,
I mean, you probably don't need a white dude telling you like about female development, but like I view her as the most empowered character in the entire show, right? Like she's like she runs shit. Like Sansa is dealing with some real fucking what I view as, and once again, like white middle class dude, so like whatever, take it with a grain of salt. But like Sansa's dealing with some lady problems. Like, I don't have physical control of my body, and I'm gaining that back over the person who transgressed me. Dany's on some next level shit where she's like, fuck your glass ceiling, I run this joint, and I don't know, like I'm not a lady. I felt empowered by it. Like I felt real good about it.
Well, one point I can kind of bring up is if you think about it, while she has a larger army now, she hasn't really been able to like excel closer and closer to Westeros because she's been more focused about conquering Meereen. So while
Meereen. That's the important part. It's not just conquering.
And abolishing like slavery. Yeah. So I feel like we feel super empowered by her because she's the mother of dragons and first of her name and whatever her long title is. But she hasn't really been able to take a step further until this episode to go to Westeros. And now she kind of like while she may have conquered the Masters, she still has to kind of make a decision on whether she wants to go or not with taking Theon and Yara's ships. And now she has the Masters ships too, so she kind of has to make a decision as, do I want to stay here and like make sure Meereen is safe? And like, I mean, obviously she made a big step by conquering the Masters, but she has to like now in this episode she had to make a decision on whether she wanted to like go or not. So I can kind of understand with her kind of now just she's been in Meereen essentially, this entire season. It kind of feels like she hasn't taken a step backwards, obviously, but she's not any closer until the end of the season. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's fair. I agree.
I think Kim had something though.
I said yeah.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Okay. I got something.
All the ladies agree. Girl power.
No, like I feel like she has failed at everything other than conquering. Yeah. Every city that she's conquered has gone back into the hands of somebody else. Meereen, she conquered, and then what happened? She got run off because the city turned on her, and they were killing her in the middle of the thing, right? Now, it was some underhanded stuff, okay? But I don't think she's learned anything about leadership or running a city or running any of that kind of stuff because everything that she's done has reverted back to the way it was just as soon as she left. Or while she was in the place. Yeah. Right? Because like I said, Meereen was ready to kill her.
But that's her arc, right? Like that's what Madison is talking about. Insofar as, she's learning lessons. One of the primary components of her character is that although she does have a right by birth to lead, what she's going through with this whole kind of hero's journey of leadership where she's learning all these lessons is essentially the American value. I work for this. I built this. I was gonna say
leadership. Well, and she doesn't want to be the type of queen that just sits in the tower and like just kind of sits there and everyone else does the work for her. She wants to be the type of person that she does it herself. I mean, she's not going to be, like a Robert Baratheon where he just, kind of just sits there and everyone else does the work and he just goes and drinks and fucks, you know? She wants to be the type of queen.
Hunted.
Say what?
He hunted too.
Okay, and died.
It's good work if you can get it.
And he died.
Boars.
On the topic of motherhood or womanhood, right? Like that was one of the comparisons that we made very earlier in the season, right? Is the comparison of potential and or actual female nudity as a reveal of womanhood and the contrast between how the different female queens conducted themselves and why she's like the true hero. But I know Madison had a thing, or was it me? Oh.
It was based off what Ralph said too about her, that she's conqueror, not a leader. I think she's fully aware of that. She's been told it, she knows it. But then too, before she made a deal with the Greyjoys, she looked back at Tyrion for affirmation that it was okay to shake their hand. Because essentially, I mean, what it's boiling down to is Tyrion's the leader.
I don't know. Like I said, and I'm kind of with that too, though, because again, she hasn't accomplished much that her people haven't done for her. You know, like she
politically, he's the leader.
Yeah.
Well, he's temperance, right? That's what that conversation where it's like, I know that you want to burn shit to the ground, but here's how this actually works.
And that's just her wanting to go back and do her conquer thing, you know, because she's like, all right, cool, I got dragons, I'm gonna burn everybody, fucking I'm out.
Yeah.
Sure. So if you want to talk about her arc, it's the idea that she's like, I'm gonna burn these motherfuckers that are shooting at me with dragons. I'm gonna look over at Tyrion for like, does this make sense?
Make sure it's okay.
And the idea of Tyrion being a great hand to the king, like, kind of adds evidence to that. Like all of that, like the idea of the wisdom of seeking good counsel is a big part of being an effective leader.
Go ahead, Kim.
And that's kind of what like Tyrion had said to both Yara and Dany was like, yeah, both of your fathers were shitty leaders and not be like them or whatever.
Yeah.
So we kind of touched on it, but is it interesting to anybody else that she demanded that the Greyjoys change the way they do things on the Iron Islands? We didn't mention that. She wants to go pillage and burn down and whatnot, but she tells the Greyjoys, "You're not going to operate like that anymore. You're not going to go. You're not going to conquer anymore." Is it her putting restrictions on already trying to put restrictions on people in Westeros, or is it? What do you guys think?
Well, I think
why'd she say that?
I think that's one way that they can kind of that's one way that she can kind of be assured of their loyalty, because it's one thing to just shake their hand and say that, we're with you and, you're our queen or whatever. But to see it in their actions, if they change their ways, I think that could be like a little bit of affirmation to the point of, if they actually do what I tell them to, then maybe I can trust them. And it goes to the point of, her wanting to, abolish shit like that. And I'm sure them just like pillaging and raping and everything that can, put a sour name on them. And if they do that, then that reflects on her if they're following Dany.
I mean, Essos is to slavery as Westeros is to raping.
Yeah.
Like, Westeros is the raping capital of the world, and Essos is the slavery capital of the world. So, like, it's to me, it's a direct port of what she's trying to accomplish in Marine. And so I think you're right. Like, yes, it's also a mechanism and token of political control, but it's a different and better and more benevolent token of political control. I take her at her word when she wants to make the world a better place.
Yeah, well, and I mean, she had to have a response for their request, right? Because they were asking for their independence. And you can't give them their independence and let them still be out raping shit and not be able to rein them in and do anything with them.
Yeah.
So like it was the quid pro quo kind of deal. Like, yes, I'll let you have your independence and you can be your own queen and do your own thing, but all this other bullshit's got to stop.
Yeah, well, and also it's wisdom in terms of forward looking, right? Like from a pragmatist standpoint, like if I grant you your independence, but then you start raping, eventually I'm going to have to come over there and fuck you up.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be a problem. So why don't we just avoid the problem?
But like Tyrion had the good point with the whole everybody's going to start asking for their independence now.
Right.
So like she's opening a can of worms because now everybody's going to be like, well, hey, I'll give you some stuff. Let me be my own thing.
Yeah. Well, because like ruling, because what exactly does it mean to be the Queen of the Iron Islands? Not really anything.
But Dany talked about like the idea of they can ask, right? Like it's an idea of I don't know if it's democratic, but it's essentially an idea of rule by assent, right? Like it's once again alternate theories besides divine right or birthright for ruling. It's the idea of I can provide enough value to you as the ruler of the Seven Kingdoms that we don't have to have all these fucking civil wars and shit like that. I'm just awesome and dope enough that it makes sense for everybody to get up under this dragon wing. And by the way, I'll melt your face in if you don't. But that's neither here.
No big deal.
Come at me, bro.
So I really liked how they brought up the fact of Euron was going to be coming. They kind of were like, well, we got here first. We may not have as many ships, but he's working on building them. And Dany kind of had to make the choice that was like, am I going to, take Theon and Yara with what they have now and work with them, or am I going to marry, Euron? Because they essentially told him that he just wants to come there and give her the D and the ships. So
the C is what they use. The C.
The C.
She might want the V.
So and then I saw Yara was looking. I don't even think I need to say it. But when they kept like looking back at what.
I love that this is our inside joke.
And we all know what this means. Lesbians. Right. I like looking back at that. It was like Tormund looking at Brienne with Yara looking at Dany, and it was like, okay, I don't think Dany would say no to that.
By the way, Dany looked as tan as she's ever looked.
She wore, like, I think that was in that last scene with Theon and Yara. I think that was the first dress I've seen her wear where her boobs are covered up. Like she didn't have any. Last 4 months, she didn't have any cleavage.
I don't know if I'm losing my touch, but I literally did not notice that.
The first thing I noticed was, wow, that dress looks really different. What's so different about that dress? Because it was so different.
Not cut down to here.
I don't see half of her tits. Okay.
Also a Dothraki dress. We've been seeing her in like blue and steels and stuff, and now she's back in brown.
Yeah.
So, it's also worth mentioning in terms of the interaction between her and Yara, two things. Once, in terms of the alternate theories of leadership, there's a difference between forcing your dick on someone,
right,
or your sword, or
and then making a pact.
You insert your phallic symbol here, versus Yara being like, yo, I'm up for anything. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sup, girl?
The rulership by assent, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
That there was a potential consensual relationship going on with Dany and Yara, potentially, right? Like it kind of underscores that theory.
Madison?
Yes.
What?
I thought you were going to say something.
I was trying to tell Bruno to get up on the couch.
Oh, okay.
Unrelated to this podcast.
Yes.
I have one more thing.
Going like this.
Go ahead, Kevin.
And Madison, this goes back to what you talked about last week about the meeting of the bastards and the fact that their fathers are both dead.
Oh yeah.
But they even went further than that, right? Because they both essentially denied their parentage, right? They both expressly talked about the idea of like, my father was a shit ruler and your father was a shit ruler, and
so
we're
let's
not
be friends.
Yeah, and we're not going to do it like that. So they are. In a contrast to what Ramsay certainly is and what Jon probably is, they seek less to be legitimized by their fathers. They give a fuck and seek to be bastards in a certain sense. So it's kind of like a through a mirror darkly version of Ramsay and Jon, which is pretty cool.
That's a great point.
I tried.
Okay. I thought it was really interesting because when I saw the preview for this episode, I didn't expect anything other than the battle because, like, last season, episode 9 was... Huh?
2 seasons ago, the battle at the wall?
Was that 2 seasons ago? What was last season? Last season someone died.
Castle Black.
Last season, what's her name died? The daughter. Yeah. 2 seasons ago, it was just the battle, so I figured, oh, okay, they're just gonna do that again. That's cool. So I am kind of glad that they threw that in here, and kind of like what Madison was saying. I mean, they're technically bastards, so it still counts. Good job, Madison.
I'm a genius.
Yeah, basically.
Word out. Right.
I'll be on BuzzFeed tomorrow.
Only if you post it on Reddit, and then you'll be on BuzzFeed. Okay, so now kind of to the meat and potatoes for this episode was the actual Battle of the Bastards with like Ramsay and Jon finally. So Jon got into it and has a couple of times with Sansa about not having enough men, and they didn't really want to wait. I mean, even my dog is doing something weird and I can't see her. Okay. Jon, I lost my train of thought. Oh, they even said that Jon only had like half of what Ramsay had, like barely half. They needed more men. They need more men, and Sansa kept saying that over and over again. And then Sansa is the one that saves the day. And
well, for now,
two episodes ago or whatever, when she was writing to someone, and we figured that she was writing to the Blackfish, and I think I said, oh, I bet she's writing to Baelish. And then we got to the last episode, and Brienne handed Blackfish, a letter from Sansa. And I was like, oh, okay, so maybe she was writing to the Blackfish. She wasn't writing to Baelish. And now, the Knights of the Vale basically came in and saved the day. I agree with everyone on the internet that is pissed about Rickon not zigzagging when you have an arrow shot at you. But I feel like
ever.
But I feel like
yelling serpentine pattern.
I feel like we knew. I mean, I think no matter what, we kind of knew that Rickon was going to be the one to like die in this episode, just because he was used as leverage. So I think no matter the way it went, Ramsay was eventually going to kill him. But
and the awareness of Sansa and Jon to realize that was going to be the outcome.
Yes, and then
one thing that we're skipping real quick is the scene between Jon and Melisandre, right? And that's a pretty important scene in terms of later in the battle, right? Because Jon's saying, "If I die, don't bring me back." And that comes up later. So I just want to kind of acknowledge that. We'll put a pin in it or whatever.
Well, I was gonna mention Jon, and kind of after we talk about everything else that happened, I do want to mention kind of Jon and like the whole Lord of Light, like in general. But we'll kind of get to that afterwards. I just want to go over kind of like the meat and potatoes of everything that happened. I feel like I was, and I think that this is a rare opinion. I feel like it was really drawn out, and I think I got to the point where I was kind of bored because I just wanted to see what happened, and I knew Jon wasn't gonna die. I knew Jon wasn't gonna die because they'd be stupid to kill him last season and then kill him again this season. I knew that wasn't gonna happen.
They left it open, right? Like maybe you're gonna die in this battle.
Yeah,
that's your plan.
But I feel like it kind of. I feel like they. But at the same time, they did do a really good job of making you think that all hope is lost and they're going to lose and then some shit's going to go down. And then they waited till like the absolute last minute to bring in the Knights of the Vale. But I still feel like the whole battle scene was a little long.
Boom. I think you're fucking crazy.
Okay.
Like the battle was the best part for me.
I've never seen anything like that in my life.
It was good. I just thought it was maybe like 2 minutes too long.
2 minutes?
2 minutes.
That is a nitpick on a fucking masterpiece of a battle.
2 minutes.
Like, so
it wasn't a masterpiece.
Talk about that a little bit. So,
it wasn't a masterpiece.
And Ralph, I know that you're a little bit of a history guy, right? But like one of the things that I thought was really cool, this is skipping a little bit to the end, but like the part where they're all suffocating as they're being slowly
trampled
by the shield wall, like that's a real thing that happened in like.
I will say that was cool with the wall. That was cool,
right? So
that was like a Genghis Khan thing.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was the Roman shield walls, right? So there's actually like stories of Roman battles that were essentially over in about 20 minutes, and they spent the rest of the afternoon just crushing and murdering everyone that was in their shield. So like the battle itself took like 20 minutes, and then just the murdering took like 5 hours.
Just the
like,
murdering.
That's a real thing that happened. Like, and just the idea of like that was the Saving Private Ryan of medieval battles. Like all the fucking horses collide, all the like awesome. So first of all, from like a special effects or fight coordination standpoint, insane. From a storytelling standpoint, the idea that they managed to coherently project Jon Snow as the narrative, right? So you got his experience of what was going on, right? And like you had a first-person view, and it granted the fight with all these stakes and all this kind of consequence, and like it conveyed the idea of confusion and chaos and just random luck and massive bodies going everywhere. And then when they started having that mountain of bodies that people were fighting over, and like where like they zoomed out and you could see that there was a couple of them and they became like hills and strategic points in the battle, it looked like a scene out of hell. Like it was so viscerally compelling. And like, granted, I've never been in a medieval battle, but when I've
whatever, you LARP all the time.
When I've heard them, when I've read histories from that time, that's what you would imagine it to be like. And so to me, I've never seen anything like that. I thought it was so fucking cool.
You don't go LARPing, Kevin?
I have never LARPed. I would LARP. I totally would LARP.
He just watches it on YouTube.
Hey, Ralph and Kim, I think your camera might be
frozen. You look a little froze.
All of you guys are frozen.
Oh, cool.
Hey, okay, great.
Okay, well we can
see
still
each other, so
we can still hear each other. We can still hear you, so that's all that matters.
Yep.
Was anybody
great? So you're frozen in a nice spot.
Was anybody else? This might be the only part of the battle that I had a little problem with. I guess was I think I would have preferred that the Knights of the Vale shown up like right as the battle was starting. I don't know why, but I'm like right as the battle starts. Ramsay's on his high horse and all that, and then the Knights of the Vale show up, and I just wanted it to be so one-sided. Maybe I just hate Ramsay so much. I wanted it to be so one-sided.
I don't think so.
And I didn't want any drama at all. I just wanted it to be a swift.
You just wanted him to die.
I
don't think so because, again, it was so drawn out to the point that it was right at the edge where you were convinced that Jon is going to lose and they are going to lose. And
I was never convinced of that.
And I was because it lasted so fucking long. I was like, well, at this point, like, okay, but
they were pretty fucked.
But they were, and Ramsay is just sitting on his horse, like way back there, and he had pretty much accepted the fact that he won. So I think they came in at the perfect point, but it would have just been a lot nicer. Because especially after him killing Rickon and everything, it would have been. I can see where you would think that it would be nice to have him at the beginning, backing them up, instead of kind of at the very end where half of Jon's army is, or over half probably is already dead.
And I think it would have given us a little bit more time to see what happened. And I know obviously they're going to save it for episode 10. But it always seems like episode 10, I think I'm thinking ahead here, that episode 10 is so crammed full of stuff.
Yes!
It would have been nice to give them a little bit of time to have some interaction between Sansa and Littlefinger. So maybe a shortened battle, like you said, Lydia, might have given a little more time for that.
Well, I almost feel like Sansa knew that Littlefinger was going to make it. Just in the way that she was hitting at things. And it kind of sticks me off because I wonder why she wouldn't have said something to Jon about it.
I disagree because even the night before the fight or whatever, she was still trying to convince him to go out, to stop. Don't do this. We need to go find other people. But no, I don't think she sounded like. I disagree. I don't think she knew that they were coming. Also, I feel like if she knew they were coming, she wouldn't have waited that long to bring them out.
No, that's the whole
she did ride up with them on a horse.
Yeah.
Right? Like they came out of nowhere.
But she wasn't at the battle.
But this is the whole
point is like she went and met them somewhere,
right?
Right? Like it wasn't like she was just chilling and like, oh hey Peter, what's up, dude?
Oh,
like,
okay. Oh, okay. I'm misinterpreting what you're saying. I thought you meant like she knew like way ahead of time. Like, okay, never mind. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying now. Yeah.
But this is the whole subtext of that conversation that she had with Jon, right?
Yeah, the whole bastard. Yeah,
it's like
half brother.
You know, she's like, we need more men, and he's like who? And she's all like, no one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like she knows exactly what's going on. So when he takes off to the battle, she's like, fuck, I gotta find this Baelish person and fucking get him to the battlefield and hope that he makes it in time.
She was just trying to stall.
Like, if we had just chilled out for like a day, then like no problemo.
She was just trying to like stall it,
Right, but she could not tell Jon because Jon would have been like,
sure,
fuck Peter Baelish, we don't need that motherfucker. I'm out. I'm gonna go kill Ramsay right now.
I kind of wish they had addressed that too after the battle was over.
Episode 10.
Huh?
Episode 10. That's where.
Oh my god.
But one thing I did want to kind of touch on before we move too far on is right. So Nate, you brought it up, like, and Lydia, you brought it up too, in the sense of like, why did we have a battle that was that long? Why did they go through the exercise of at least making it plausible that Jon was going to lose, right? And to me, that all came down. So remember when we put a pin in that Melisandre conversation, that all came down to that moment where Tormund's like, fuck this. And Jon starts getting crushed, right? So he's being crushed. He literally can't breathe. He's buried underneath the, Right. Yeah. First of all, amazing how they made
that was good.
Claustrophobic. Like you had that visceral feeling yourself. But right, so him clawing for breath was very much related to his conversation with Melisandre about bringing him back. It was a metaphorical rebirth. And that goes back to him being a fucking moron at the beginning of the battle.
Yeah.
Right? So my hope is that symbolically he has been reborn again as a better leader, someone who is not a fucking moron and plays into Ramsay's every, appeal, right? That he has gained some wisdom through his rebirth, right? But it's very much that. It's related to that. So, like, he looked like a zombie rising from the dead, like coming out of the grave. And that's very much what was going on there. And I think that the battle, besides the fact looking cool, it necessitated its length to really make that point and make that moment of rebirth more meaningful.
Go ahead, Kim.
So, two things adding on what Kevin just said was, and Tormund.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tormund. I mean, he even like at that point he was like, "Don't do it, don't do it," tell him not to charge. So he knew like once it happened that they were fucked. But the other thing that was even before the battle that really, I found it quite shocking is when Sir Davos found the
oh my god,
the figurine.
Yeah.
I thought the Red Woman was gonna die that night. Like I didn't really think.
Well, I think that's gonna be a big thing in 10. Like the next episode, I think that's gonna be huge because he finds it. It's charred. It's had a stack of wood. Like he knows what happened.
Well, she had to have told him. I mean.
Does he not know?
I don't think he knows.
No, he knows.
No. Nobody told. I think he just devised it.
No. Remember when she comes back to the wall and he can see it in her eyes that like Stannis lost everything, and she's like, "What about what's her name, Kevin?"
The prince. She just said the princess.
Oh, Shireen.
Shireen, thank you. And he's like, "What about Shireen?" And she kind of just looks at him. Now he may not know that she got like burned at the stake or whatever.
Exactly.
But I think I don't know. I think he had to already know. He doesn't know precisely.
Like he knows that she's dead, right?
Yeah.
But now I think he's getting that inkling of, wait, did you fucking burn the girl for some Lord of Light thing?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so kind of going back to with like the Lord of Light in general, something I noticed, and I didn't notice until after the episode have ended, is there's like a lot of theories about Jon being I don't remember like the specific name. No.
No, not R'hllor is the god. Azor Ahai.
Yes, which is basically, isn't that basically like the reincarnation of the Lord of Light, kind of essentially?
The prince who was promised. Yes.
Yeah. So
it's Jeebus.
Was promised is a separate.
No, the king that is promised. That's something different, I think.
Really?
I think
that's why there's fan theories going on that Dany and Jon Snow are both prophecies on two separate prophecies.
Yeah. I get what you're saying, yes. But if you see it, how many? I feel like there were at least 500 instances, and I don't think this was a case of the show. I think this was a real testament for that he probably is this prophesized, reincarnation or whatever. There were so many times where he essentially should have died. I mean, he had 3 or 4 walls of arrows come towards him when he was riding his horse towards Ramsay, right? And then even when he's in the battle and he's getting, demolished and trampled and everything, he basically should have been trampled to death hundreds of times. And then when he's going to like hand-to-hand combat one-on-one with Ramsay, when he grabs the shield and there's at least one that like barely misses him, that gets like the tip of the shield or whatever. There are an insane amount of cases where he should have died, like 100% should have died. And I don't think it's a like story development where, Jon has to live because he's the good guy. I think it's
plot armor.
Yeah, I don't think it's plot armor. I think it's a case of where he does have the Lord of Light behind him, and he is the resurrection or whatever of him. And I think that was, and I didn't really realize that until after I watched the episode, especially with the arrows on the shield.
The John-shaped hole in the arrows.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But there were
Kool-Aid Man.
But there were just so many times where he should have died, like 100% he should have died, especially when he was by himself on the horse on the battlefield. So I thought that was a really cool way to like passively show the power that he kind of holds and like the protection that he essentially has from the Lord of Light.
And to go back and do a lore check. So I looked up the prince who was promised, right? So Melisandre refers to them interchangeably. She calls Azor Ahai the prince who was promised. But it's not conclusively the same prophecy, right?
I didn't think so.
Melisandre uses them interchangeably and basically claims it's the same prophecy. But there's also people who don't believe in the Lord of the Light that do believe in the prince who was promised.
Right. Go ahead, Madison.
Oh, I was just giving a thumbs up.
Oh, okay.
Thumbs up on the lore check?
Thumbs up, lore check.
I do have an interesting, so we've been talking a lot about cinematography, how they've done a really good job with this episode. One of the most impactful things where I was like, damn, so we're towards the end of the battle. River Run, the Knights of the Vale just came through, and when we started out the battle, Ramsay had this huge frickin' army behind him. And by the end of it, there was 5 people. Given that a lot of people were surrounded in that thing, but that wall of men was like largely his people.
It was like 3 rows.
Yeah. And like they've said it over and over again that Jon Snow's side, the Stark side, did not have enough people. So that wall has to be largely his men. He fired into it at will without really even thinking about it or caring, which is not shocking for him. But cinematographically, it's been a long day. I speak for a living.
I talk words.
It's funny because it's true.
I've got big words. I've got the biggest words.
I've got lots of words. We're gonna build a wall around Jon's army.
We're gonna make the North great again.
Build a wall.
Cinematography.
Yeah. No, we're gonna make the White Walkers build the wall.
We're gonna build the wall.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be huge.
It's gonna be huge. Okay, continue, Madison.
I just thought it was really interesting to have the comparison with now he had a huge army of living behind him. Now he was staring. He had 5 men with a huge army of dead in front of him, and a castle to go back to. That had he saved those men and not done the wall thing, he could have potentially kept Winterfell, but he was so inconsiderate with lives and stuff that it wound up being his own demise.
It's true. Like, I dig that, right? Because that was a conversation that Roose had with him. Well, I don't know I can't remember if it was last season or this season, but the idea of like,
it was like right before he died.
Yeah, it was like, why the fuck would you ever leave Winterfell? Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? It's basically when he went and fucked up Stannis, right? Like, yeah, like, you know, like, why would you do that? You have Winterfell. But yeah, I thought it was, so one, it was really great characterization about him shooting arrows in, right? Because it's like a raw mathematical calculus. Like, we have equal numbers of men in this melee, but each of my men is worth like 0.3 of a man that a Stark has, right? Like, and you know, the comparison between, you know, not the Davos, right, being like, well, we can't fucking shoot in there. That was really dope, but also the idea of storytelling, like you said, showing the layers of dudes behind him and showing that even when they tried to attack the shield wall, there was a whole other shield wall behind the shield wall. Like, that was great visual storytelling. It was very much show don't tell. Just brilliant shit.
And they just, by the way, and this, I don't know why this bothered me, but when the Knights of the Vale came through on horseback and they just plowed into the wall, those guys didn't move like a bunch of jabronis. They just stood there. They got mowed down. I'm like, what? You wouldn't run after you saw your homeboys get wiped out?
I don't. Oh, yeah.
After seeing that, that's crazy.
I mean, and for some reason, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, all of a sudden, there's a horse in your fucking back. Yeah. The other thing is that they're trained. Like, the only thing that is keeping you alive is the fact that your shield is touching the other two dudes' shields. Yeah. And if you don't have that, you're fucking dead. So, like, I imagine that training is hard to beat. But also, you're right.
Yeah, and I didn't. And for some reason, I didn't imagine the Knights of the Vale having that many people. I thought it was, you know, a few hundred, not the massive army that we saw roll through. So that was.
Well, you got to remember too, the Knights of the Vale haven't been in any fights. Like, they've been very passive in the whole situation.
Yeah, that's true.
They've been staying in Winterfell, so to speak.
They look like a bunch of badass dudes, that's for sure.
In periwinkle blue.
Yeah, very nice.
So let's get to the best part.
Oh yeah.
Let's get to the best part. First of all,
my dogs have not been fed in 7 days.
First of all, Jon beating the ever living shit out of him with his bare hands. I think that was probably one of my favorite parts. Is not taking any weapons but his bare fists and just fucking his world up. And then he looks over at Sansa, and I really thought he was gonna like hand her like a knife or something, like a blade or something. And I was like, that would have been great. And then, you know, he gets eaten by the dogs essentially at the end while she watches. And at the end of the episode, Wally was like, that was the best way that he could have died ever. I disagree. I think a better way for him to have died is if Sansa did it with her bare hands. Like, just stabbed him in the dick. It doesn't. I don't care. Yeah. Just
like I was disappointed that Sansa
dick
had
open.
Something to do with it.
Yes. Well, she was there, and I'm sure she, you know, let the hounds out, and she was the one that needed to witness it. I think this was the second best option for him to die. I would have liked to have seen her do it just with her bare hands, because I feel like that would have been more of like, I think that would have just taken it to the next level.
Well, once again, there was at least the specter of genital mutilation, which I think has to be considered in any Ramsay death, right? Like, that is kind of his hallmark, is like genital mutilation. And, you know, once again, this is a very well-written show. So he brought it up earlier, like, I wonder what my dogs will be up to. I wonder if they're going to go for your balls.
Your balls.
For your balls.
For your balls.
You know, they did a good job with that.
Yeah.
I thought it was perfect because he strived on torturing in the
it did go like full circle
ways. We saw him a couple episodes ago kill his brother like that, his newborn brother, and his stepmother like that. My favorite part of this whole thing is that I don't know if anybody paid attention. Well, I'm sure you all paid attention. That's why we're on.
No, I don't watch that show. I just show up.
What are we talking about?
My favorite part of that whole
lesbians.
Okay, go Madison.
Sansa went to go turn away like at least 3 times. Like the first time was like she didn't want to see it, and she kept like making like subtle movements with her body and kept forcing herself to stay and watch. And I thought right there, I mean, I've been seeing this stuff all over the internet about how Sansa confused them because like everybody hated Sansa. She was the worst. And now all of a sudden she's a badass bitch, and she has a spine, and she has Ramsay's balls now. Well, the dog has those, I guess. But
she should put them in a jar.
Like, speaking of empowering women, like we were talking about earlier, like the fact that she not only succeeded, she overcame, but she sat and she watched and
it's going to harden her up now.
Yeah, like she is going to be okay now. Like she said, she will forget him because she, like, the dogs have chewed him up to make him no longer there.
Well, and her Mona Lisa smile at the end, right? Like that last shot, like she fucking gets it, and her arc has been really, really impressive over the course of the season.
It has, because she was a bitch, and then she got a little bit better, and then she went back down to being a bitch, and then she got a little bit better, and it was like this back and forth. And I think when her aunt died and she like walked down the stairs and she was like dressed all in black and her hair was black. You remember that season, like 2 or 3 seasons ago? And I was like, yeah, Sansa's gonna stop being a pussy bitch. And it's like, I'm still waiting for that to happen. And that kind of like finally came up with this episode. But then there's like the next episode where it kind of hints that like Littlefinger is gonna try to like
put it in,
like get with her like again. So I hope that now, because she has like Jon behind her back, now that she like actually has family with her, she won't feel kind of like inclined to be such a pussy. But
she hasn't had a choice. Like, let's be clear about like the whole like shit that went down with Ramsay. Like, I don't know what you're supposed to do there. Once again, I'm not a lady, and ladies don't need me to defend them. But like, I'm hopeful that she is in a position where she is able to reject whatever Littlefinger has going on her own, right? Yeah. That she's finally learning the game of not only like symbolically gaining her own bodily integrity, which is like a huge, crazy character beat for her that I love how they've done. Once again, I'm not a lady. Easy for me to say. These disclaimers are important.
Yeah, you middle-aged white man. You don't know nothing.
Hey, just because I turned 34 on Saturday doesn't mean I'm fucking middle-aged.
Oh my God, you're so old.
Welcome to the world.
But listen, like I'm hopeful that also part of it is that she is able to apply what she was saying to Jon to her relationship with Littlefinger, which is to say that she did what Littlefinger wanted. She called for the Knights of the Vale, but that she's got like the triple cross ready, because Littlefinger's got the double cross ready, and she's gonna learn to triple cross him, and that'll be a true arc for Sansa. And she might not get there this time, right? The Game of Thrones is long enough and stretched out enough that characters fail, just like you were talking about, Ralph, with Dany, right? Characters fail and they learn lessons and they have to go back through things multiple times. But I'm rooting for it.
What if this is like a super hypothetical, okay? Sansa, not a pussy, Queen of the North. Then we have Queen of the Iron Islands and Queen of Westeros. We find out that George R. R. Martin actually has mommy issues.
Oh.
That is
next level.
So what? So known one thing, I want it to be that fan theory.
So what does happen to Winterfell now? Like, I guess Sansa is the only one that is. I mean, essentially, she's the only one that's fit to rule it. But I feel like at some point, someone's going to make a big stink about it.
Well, Arya's on her way home.
Arya's on her way home, and then you have Lyanna ruling Bear Island.
Yeah.
You have, like, there are enough women in power right now that it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah. And she's got people that'll back up her claim, so it's not. I don't think it's a big deal at all.
I don't see it as being an issue until maybe like Bran comes back or something, because now he's a Stark boy or whatnot. But other than that, I don't see it being a thing.
But in Bran's position, I don't think he would even.
No, he can't.
Yeah.
He's the three-eyed raven.
Yeah, he can't.
He gonna die.
Oh,
it's
God,
cool.
no.
It's cool where they're arcing towards, right? Because this has been a series that has been brutal towards women. I mean, it's been brutal towards everyone, but it's been particularly brutal towards women. So if the end of the arc is...
Who runs the world? Girls. Who runs the world? Girls. Who runs this motherfucker? Who runs this motherfucker? Yeah, basically.
Three ladies that are
lesbians.
So I guess to put a bow on this, how happy was everybody? And I actually smiled, and I recognized when I did, when the Stark banners went on the side.
Oh yeah.
You did.
Oh my God.
That was nice.
It was
like yeah. So all right, next week.
Well, one thing that I wanted to mention about this, right, and specifically Ramsay, right, and it goes back to models of power and models of rulership and models of leadership, and once again, Ramsay's idea of loyalty, right, and like his statement, well, they're loyal hounds, right, and the idea that the only reason they were loyal is because of the control he exercised over them and things along those lines. Once again, just a wonderful, brilliant piece of characterization about his relationship with power.
Go ahead, Madison. I heard a story about this today. HBO Now fucked up last night.
Okay, since we're wrapping everything up, I was going to save this for the end of the episode. I have a formal complaint to file with HBO Now. How have you not gotten your shit together? You know how many people are going to tune in and view. What is the deal? I could not tune into the episode until 10:06.
Oh my God! You're saying
$1 wake up at 4:30 in the morning. It was painful. And I'm on Twitter getting tons of spoilers.
I'm with Madison. Like, if you're 10 minutes late, you're missing something. Like somebody's gonna spoil it for you.
I got your back. I had to start at 20 minutes late, and I turned my phone off. I turned the computer off. I literally looked at nothing because I had to start 20 minutes late. So
bastards, okay? So I'm following the HBO Now stream, okay, and I'm updating it, and I got a lot of retweets on one of my things. I did get a lot of retweets. There is one bastard giving spoilers with hashtag HBO Now because he knows all of us can't get to it. You, sir, are a motherfucker, okay? You are
so that guy is a dick.
On the wall.
Okay, so
that guy's a dick. But I do want to point out the very Louis C.K. idea that you are complaining that spoilers about the episode were beamed to your phone that you looked at from space.
I was going to say.
Faster than the episode was delivered to you through a tiny glass tube. Let's just talk about that. Like, put it in perspective.
And it took HBO Now 46 minutes to write something on their Twitter feed that they know people are experiencing problems. Unacceptable.
I'm almost positive because I've seen all about it in the news today. I think a lot of people are asking for their money back for like their subscription. So I would look
up episode.
I would look into it.
It's not one episode. It happened to the first episode. It happened to this episode.
Did it happen this season?
I'll bet it's going to happen next week.
Did it happen this season?
The first episode, yeah.
Yeah, remember it happened. It happened to us. Was it last year or was it?
It happened.
Last year.
Season premiere.
That's why. That's why 100% the reason why I pay for the full subscription, and then I just cancel it.
Hang on.
And then
cord cutters. We are cord cutters. We are saving money and being hipster shits.
Nope, worth it.
I'm not a hipster.
Worth. You're such a hipster. All right, guys. Next week is the end.
I have 2 points that I missed.
Oh my God, Kevin.
I'm the worst. All right. I want to go back to the Tyrion conversation for one quick point, which is the idea that there was actually 3 bastards, right? Because, and they made a point of this, but going back to the line of all dwarves are bastards in the eyes of their fathers, right? So I thought that was a cool little triangle that was going on there between Dany, Yara, and Tyrion. Wanted to point that out. 2, HBO put out a featurette today that was like 10 minutes long about how they filmed the battle. That was all real fucking horses. It was like 40 fucking horses. Right?
The horses are all dead now? PETA, hello.
All right, go on, yeah. No, like when those horses are charging at Jon, as an example, the over-the-shoulder shot, those are all real live horses. Like, that's fucking crazy.
I did remember looking at one point when it like looked down the line of all the horses. I was like, there's no way it's that many of those horses. Wow, those look really realistic. So
they were real.
That surprised me.
So I want to give them fucking props for like that's crazy.
Here you go, Madison. Talkid100 says he actually watched the episode on Twitch. Some guy with 0 followers was streaming it, which is technically illegal, but he said Twitch didn't ban them. So next week, if it's late, just try to like search Game of Thrones on Twitch and see if someone is live streaming it.
I did see somebody saying, I've tried so hard to make this a legal endeavor and you're forcing me to be illegal.
I'm just saying, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, it's the season. It's a season finale. All bets are off. I mean, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter.
Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton tweeted back at anybody saying whoever fixes the problem gets their vote.
They're gonna build a wall around HBO now. A wall. Okay, now are we done, Kevin?
Oh no, I've been done. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know why we're dragging this out.
No, he did. He got the horses and he got Tyrion, and so next week is the end. And it hurts. The worst part is that next season is going to be shorter, so it's not like I can get excited about next season, because next season's only going to be like 6 or 7 episodes.
Sometimes
you can't get excited, you spoiled brat.
You're exactly right. I can't. Wow, jeez.
Be in the complainers club.
Talk about somebody that has mommy issues.
And there's only 6 of them, and I have been hurt.
Speaking of mommy issues over here. Jeez. So like kind of like we were saying a while ago, is that they're gonna ram every storyline into this end, which again is kind of why I shortened up the battle, is because they could have, maybe fit a little bit more in about Marine and maybe like wrap that up or something, but they're gonna have to. Did we see Arya in the preview?
I don't think we're gonna see her again.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think Arya's done.
Fuck.
She's like, I'm out. She's on her way back.
But I know
because we know what's gonna happen to her, right? Like she's on her way, so there's like they don't need to show her getting on a boat or anything.
I know we saw Bran. So Bran is gonna be addressed, and I want to say, let me scroll up because someone commented on this at the beginning about. I really hope Brienne gets some screen time in the finale. I can't handle having this season end with her in a boat down the river.
It's going slow, and I'll see you in season 10. And
do you think that will be the last time that Brienne and Jaime see each other when they were saying goodbye? I hope not. Oh, that's right. The finale is gonna be the trial with the 7 steps. Mm-hmm. So Cersei's gonna die, and everyone's gonna be happy. And there was much rejoice. Yay! She's gonna die.
Here's a good question, real quick. Who do we hate now?
Yeah, right.
Who does the Orthodoxy make us hate?
Who is the heel in this big in this ordeal now?
I guess it's supposed to be shifted to the High Sparrow now, isn't it?
I said that to my friends I watched the episode with, and I said, you know what? I think the High Sparrow is the ass in this whole deal.
But I don't think he's gonna die. I don't either. The finale.
I think he's the guy. He's the de facto hateable guy now.
Baelish is gonna be real hateable.
What he does, next episode.
But
he's gonna be real hateable.
I don't know if he's gonna be hateable, but I think he's always been that type of character where like he's so we love to hate him. We love to hate him, maybe. But it's because he's so smart and all of the moves that he makes.
He's a compelling villain.
Yeah,
but he is the villain.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Madison just told me she's got a crush on him, so that just.
Just put him on the top of the list of assholes.
You like that little mustache?
He's dead to me.
I like his little twitchy smile. Like it's like It's like at the corner. It's like.
Well, if you have HBO now, you can go back and watch The Wire, which he's in.
Oh, perfect.
There you go. I think he was in a video game recently too. He had a character. A video game.
Full story, bro.
Yeah, and then I found $5.
And then you found $5.
And then I found $5. Yeah. All right. So what are the predictions for next episode? Who do we think is gonna die?
I love that. That's like an episode by episode thing.
No, because it's the finale, and I mean, what major characters have died this season?
I'm gonna say that Cersei gets Tomlin killed next week.
Wow.
Tomlin.
That's my prediction.
Tomlin.
Yeah, Tomlin's gonna die.
Tomlin.
Head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Tomlin.
He shows up for a cameo.
I think it's gonna be Cersei or the High Sparrow. One of them.
Well, if the prophecy that we talked about this last time, they spent time to tell us the prophecy about the fact that all her children would die. She would live to see over.
Oh, that's right.
Die. And so it would make sense for him to die while she's still alive.
You're right.
And
said that last week.
She's gonna do it because he's turned against her.
Who's gonna be the king then?
We're gonna figure that out. I also think Loras is gonna die.
Yara's gonna be the king.
I was gonna say Loras is gonna die too.
I think Loras is gonna die because something needs to happen to make Marjorie go, oh, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
Well, and his character has been gone for a while.
I think Marjorie.
No.
Oh,
That's why Marjorie's gonna die right there.
No, because I'm a spoiled brat. I don't want her to die. I'm spoiled.
She's gonna be queen. It's gonna be more queen.
Yeah.
She's gonna have a moment where she reveals all of this stuff that she's doing to be bullshit, but that she has changed as a person and that she's a better person, which is just about time for her to fucking do
it. Exactly.
For like Loras to kill her.
No.
Because like the Sparrow promised him freedom.
Pretty much.
If he killed her or something like that. Like something fucking nuts like that.
No, Loras would never do that to her.
Well, next week is an extended episode. I think it's is it 69 minutes? 69. It is 69 minutes.
Last night.
62.
Yeah, last night was 62. 69 minutes. So we'll see.
It's gonna be a nasty episode.
All right. Well, we'll be back Monday for lots of goodies.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Thanks, May. Thanks, Tall Kid.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week for the last one.